Hey everybody, it's Victoria Mattia, and you are watching and listening to the Mom Care Coach. This is one of those fun episodes that is recorded on YouTube, and it is also going to be on the podcast. So, this is a much anticipated episode. We are talking about planning, and I have heard from you guys. Many of you are wanting more directives and steps when it comes to how you plan your week, what needs to be on it, how exactly do you practice your self care strategies. So, we're going to talk about that today. So, today I am going to share with you some of the things that I put in my weekly plan. And I have 10 items that I put in my weekly plan, but that's because I am a homeschool mom. If you do not homeschool, then you can just put the first eight. And basically, we as autism moms, it's really important for us to be very strategic when it comes to self care. Because let's be honest, we are not going to quit on our families. We are not going to quit on our children. We're not going to quit on our work. But often we will put our own self care on the back burner. Why? Because we're already exhausted. We're already tired. We already have so much going on. And if it's not planned out, it becomes one more thing. And I always say that you don't have to be number one on the list or on your calendar, but you do need to be on the calendar. And it must be strategic, it must be mindful, it must be intentional. Otherwise, when it comes to ourselves and our own self care, it just simply doesn't get done. Many of us, as autism moms, are also either on the spectrum or ADHD or neurospicy in some way. Not all of us, but many of us are. And because of that, we really have to be intentional about what it is we want when it comes to our own self care. So let's talk about it. So, in order for our week to flow and our calendar to function, it takes more than just buying a planner. It takes more than just having a digital calendar that you go by when it comes to our self care. Anytime we are adding anything into our lives or we are going to someone for our children to receive therapies or appointments or even school, there's always either a digital tracker or a paperwork tracker or both. Otherwise, did it even really happen, right? When we go to send our children to school or to therapies, they already have some kind of visible tracker that says, this is what we're going to do, this is what comes next, this is the reason why. We have outcomes that they are wanting to implement as well. And they want to be able to see, okay, did this work or didn't this work? When it comes to self care, we need to look at goals. That's the only way for us to actually know what's working, what's not working, what we need to implement, why, if we need to implement more. There must be goals. So let me tell you what mine are. So we are more than just a physical being. We are physical, mental, emotional, spiritual beings. And, we live in an inclusive unit, whether that is your family, whether that's just you and your child, whether that it's you in a larger community. Maybe you have parents and grandparents. Whatever it is not just you if you are an autism mom, generally speaking, right? Unless your children are already adults and they're not living with you anymore. But if you're living in a home with littles or with teens or someone, then you need to make sure that your self care happens. And the only way that you can do it is if we track it because we just get too busy, right? Okay. So the first thing I think is really important is to do a Sunday sit down. So, depending on where you are in the world, maybe Sunday is your first day of the week. Maybe Monday is what you consider to be the first day of week. Whatever it is, before that first day, you need to sit down and think about what it is you're wanting to accomplish for yourself that week, whether that is appointments that you're wanting to look at, meal plans, all of those kinds of things need to be on our list, especially meal plans. But that's not the only thing on our list. We have several things we're wanting to put in there. So you can just copy me, or you can come up with your own 8 to 10. I don't recommend more than 10. You can have more or less than 8, but especially when you're just starting out. But you do want to have like at least a little piece here. You do want to have like an idea of what it is you're going for and the reasons why. So basically, you want to think about this: spiritual, financial, physical, your home, emotional, if you have a spouse, parenting, and that's pretty much it. Those are the areas that we're wanting to really look at because that's what's going to really help us. Okay. So now let's talk about what we're going to put on. And before we do, so this, I guess, would be for our one big idea that you can be excellent at planning, but before you can be excellent at anything, you got to get started, right? And do it messy before it's perfect. It's okay. Just getting it down, thinking about what it is you're needing to do, and then getting it down. Now, as I said, you can do digital, but I'm going to recommend pencil and paper first, okay? Why? Because, like I said before, many of us are neurodivergent in some way, and to be able to have something in front of us that we can physically see and read can be very beneficial. Now, if you're wanting to also do digital, you can do both. Okay, so let's get started. So, as I said, the Sunday sit down, you want to have all of those things on there. You want to think about what needs to be conducted in your household. So, if you're married, you want to talk to your spouse about this. If you have a partner, if you do not, you want to think about what is on your calendars when it comes to appointments and work. Now, physical. In our physical lives, we are wanting to practice movement. So if this is your first time tuning in, thank you so much for tuning in. This is the Mom Care Coach. If this is not your first time, thank you so much for hanging around and coming back. Here we talk about self-care and specifically our four intentional needs, which are movement, mindset, nutrition, and sleep. In that, it encompasses our entire life, doesn't it? And what we're wanting to do is place the idea, the ambiguous idea of self care, and put it in a really tactical and tangible way so we can actually implement it into our lives. In order for that to happen, we have to organize our lives so that we can see, okay, what needs to come next. So when it comes to working out, we're going to talk about movement for a second. That needs to be on our calendar. Movement is really important because it helps our brain, it helps with digestion, it helps as we age, it helps us to feel good. All of that's really important. So that is physical, but of course it's emotional as well. With the Sunday sit down, another thing that's really awesome is that, and it needs to be scheduled. You need to schedule a day of when you're going to do your Sunday sit down on your calendar so that it's not ambiguous and just something that you're just keeping it in your brain. It needs to actually happen. And what gets tracked gets done. So when it comes to that second theme, physical, going to the gym or doing a Pilates workout at home or walking around your apartment or home or whatever it is you do, it needs to be physical. And we're wanting to do it at least like 2 or 3 times, of course, more. But if we're starting with at least twice a week, that can be really, really helpful. So far, what are we putting in our planners? It needs to be, I'm recommending a physical planner. Of course, you do whatever you want, but I'm going to recommend a physical planner. The one I use is by Horatio Printing. I'll try to link it in the description notes. And it needs to have a day that you're doing your Sunday sit down when you're writing everything in, including your meal planning. And then the second thing, we need to write down when we're actually going to get movement and where we're going to get it. Are we going to take the kids to the park a couple times a week? Are we going to walk around a track? Are we going to walk around our neighborhood? Where and when are we getting movement in? Third thing, cleaning our house. Now, I've mentioned this a few episodes back, but it's really important to have tidy cues and zone cleaning. So, what does that mean? A tidy cue is when you have certain times in your calendar where you just kind of pick up stuff, where you pick up things in different rooms. This is something that is done like in like 5 to 10 minutes is all it takes because you're just kind of picking things up. You may be wiping down a table or counter, but it's a really simple thing. But having scheduled tidy cues throughout the day is going to be really, really helpful for you. And then having once or twice a week zone cleaning where you're actually saying, hey, I'm going to tackle this dresser. I'm going to tackle this desk drawer. I'm going to tackle my kitchen cabinets or this closet, a whole space that takes around 15 to 30 minutes around. If it takes more than that, then you need to chunk it out where you're having only 15 to 30 minutes once a week or twice a week, or however you need to do that because you don't want to get overwhelmed. And often, many of us as autism moms, we don't have lots of space and or time rather to add more to our day, but it needs to get done. So we need to schedule some time and some space to make that happen. What are the kids going to be doing during that time? We need to think about that. And then how are we going to schedule that in? What do we need? Are there certain tools we need to tackle that? I like to clean my home really naturally. So for me, I make my own dish soap out of soap nuts and Castile soap. And I make a little scrub with vinegar and baking soda and soap nut powder, and you can add essential oils to it. And those are the kind of things I like to use. A microcloth, a little scrubby to get in the grout, like in your bathroom. Those kinds of things can make it very simple. I prefer not to have lots of chemicals in my home, so that's how I do it that way. If I wanted to buy soap, then like I said, I'll do like the Castile soap or soap nuts or like a dish soap that I can get that has very few ingredients in it and as pure as possible. And so basically, you're wanting to think about how you're going to do your zone cleaning and your tidy cues. Do you need to have your vacuum cleaner easily accessible? What kind of vacuum cleaner do you need? Are you needing to purchase one? Are you wanting like a three-in-one where you can take it apart and you can use it in your car, but you can put it together and you can also use it like in high spaces as well as putting it together and do your actual hardwood floors or your carpets. Thinking these simple things through can make it so much easier for you. Also, here is a tip that I think is so important. I have these baskets. They're these cute little baskets. Well, large actually, they're not small. They're about this high and they're big. They're actually like cute toy boxes, but they're actually large baskets. And I have three of them, and I have them dispersed in different parts of the house. And the reason why is as a mama that has ADHD, I don't always take things and put it back immediately. I'm getting there, but what I think it's really important is to have places where you can take the things out of your hand and toss it in there so you have a specific area. I have a specific area in this cute little gray basket. And this one's a small one that I put like papers I find around the house during maybe a tidy cue session. I put it in there, and at the end of the day, I can go through it. Or you can have a certain time of day or a certain day when you actually go through it, when that's something you can do. With the larger baskets, maybe I'm taking some toys and putting it in there during a tidy queue so that my space stays clean and I will schedule when to go back and look in those baskets. That's a little tip and it's very, very helpful. Another tip when it comes to cleaning, using a timer. You can use the little white timers, you can use a little chicken timer, kitchen timers, or you can use like your phone. Now, as you know, I do not have a smartphone anymore, and it has been so amazing and freeing because that I'm not like tempted to be on my phone all the time. I have a flip phone. It's a Barbie flip phone. I don't have it around here. I'd actually show it to you. It's really cute. But the purpose of my Barbie flip phone is to talk on the phone and text people, and that is it. So I use paper and pencil to write in my planner. I do not use a digital calendar, but you can use a digital calendar, but I recommend doing the paper first. Okay, next, number four, it's personal time. So for me, I have like different things that I like to do. I have a coach, and so I will speak to them. I have classes I like to take of things that I find interesting that's in my, my area of coaching, being I am a certified health and wellness and life coach. And so I like to find different things for me to study when it comes to that. So, whatever you enjoy doing for your personal time, I think is really important. Number five, I call it mom care. That is your morning routine and your nighttime routine. Let me tell you, it is very, very important to have a morning routine and nighttime routine because in the morning it sets you up for your day. You're, relaxed and you're able to get going before the busyness of the day happens. And as I have a few episodes back where I talk about with a morning routine, it is possible to actually do it right on the side where you have your children with you if that's necessary. I recommend, if at all possible, to do it by yourself, but sometimes it's not possible. So, a morning and nighttime routine, and that is the mom care. Number six, it is family fun. So, for us, it's like a movie night, field trips because I'm a homeschool mom, whatever it is. And remember, all of this stuff is going in that paper planner. Okay, next. Meal prep. Now, we already talked about you created a meal plan during your Sunday sit down. It's really important to have meal prep. So, what's the point in having a meal plan, but you never actually prep the food that you prepare? Well, or already shopped for. So you must do the meal prep. What does that mean? Well, let's say if you're going to have a roast beef tomorrow, then maybe you need to take the beef out of the freezer and put it in the crock pot or put it in your fridge to defrost. That would be a part of the prep. Maybe you want to make it simple for yourself so it doesn't take that long. Maybe you're going to pre-cut up the onion and the garlic and the bell pepper so that you can put it in there. Okay. However it is, for whatever it is you have planned out already that you're going to eat, go ahead and do that. And I have mentioned before, it's really important to have like in a pinch when you're running late or you guys, maybe you had some activities that went late in your family so that you can just go to your pantry and grab some utensils and then have some things out of the freezer and whip up a meal in 15 to 20 minutes. That's really important to also have that on hand also. Okay. Number eight, a to-do list. Now you may think to yourself, okay, I've covered everything, but it's really nice to be able to have a little to-do list of what are the things that you haven't put in the planner or things that kind of pop up throughout the week and you're like, oh, I gotta remember to do that, or I gotta remember to write that down so when I go grocery shopping, I'll put that on, or I have to remember to put that in the planner so that we can schedule our summer vacation or whatever. However, you're wanting to do that, you're wanting to put that on your to-do list. Of course, it has to do with your house, right? Okay. So let's go over it again. So I'm going to go over the top eight because that's something that everybody needs to do. I'm going to go over it again. Number one, that's a Sunday sit down. That you want to also have your meal plan in it. Financial things like how much are you like budgeting? Are you wanting to keep track of that? Write that stuff down. Spiritual. Do you have some kind of Shabbat that you observe every week? Write that down and maybe what you're doing on that day. The second thing, getting in movement. So if you're going to the gym or you're working out somewhere else, that's the physical area. You want to take care of your temple. Number three, how are you going to clean your house? You need to have tidy cues and zone cleaning. That's, of course, encompasses your physical house. And so you need to make sure you always have all your tools for that. And actually, when you have your tools together, it makes it more fun, I think. If you have your microfiber towels and your little bucket of where you have your stuff, and if you have like a little caddy of where you put all of your tools, that's really, really helpful. And this is coming from a person with ADHD, and I'm not naturally one of those people that just knows how to clean. Growing up, we always had someone to do that. And so that's something I've had to learn after settling down and having kids. Next thing, your personal time. This is your emotional part. How do you protect yourself? How do you help yourself? How do you recharge? Those are the kind of things that you're wanting to do. Like I said, for me, I enjoy taking classes and courses, and I enjoy my coaching. I have coaches that I go to about a variety of different things, and I love that. So that takes care of my emotional part. The mom care number five, that can be a date night. So that is between you and your spouse. Or it can be if you're not married and you're a single mom, it can be you taking care of yourself. How are you treating yourself? Are you watching a movie? Are you going somewhere? Do you have to schedule childcare for you to go out with friends? Or maybe you just want to go grocery shopping by yourself. All of that, you just think about what are the mom care activities that you enjoy doing. Okay, the next thing, number six, we have our, for me, it's family fun. So whether that's like a movie night, field trips, or whatever it is you enjoy doing with your children. Maybe you like to go to Legoland, or you like to, go to the science center. Or there's so many wonderful things that we can do, especially nowadays. So you think about what's really fun for you. Okay, number seven, we have meal prep. What are you doing? Like schedule that time in and what exactly you need to have done and what days you do your meal prep. Maybe you only do your meal prep a couple of times a week so that you have all that stuff done so that you don't have to meal prep every day. You think about what works for you. And number eight is your to-do list. Now, number nine, actually, this is something we all need to do, grocery shop. So we meal plan for our Sunday sit down. The next thing is to grocery shop. And then the next thing, of course, would be your meal prep. All of those things has to do with food. You can actually look online. If grocery shop online, that's one thing. But if you do it in person, you can actually see what aisles and write that down too, that you're wanting to go to for whatever you're purchasing. That'll make it go quicker. And that can be really helpful. And then let's see, number 10 for me is homeschool. So all of these 10 things for me goes in my calendar. So think about what are the things that are really important to you. I recommend the first eight, actually nine, because grocery shopping is important, whether you do it in person or online. So I hope that this was helpful and I gave you some ideas or tips, some tips of what you can put in your calendar. So I hope you have a great day. I look forward to talking to you next time. Bye.